Long break for you. I mean, what does it feel like to just be back here and kind of feeling the energy of a fight week again?
Oh, it feels awesome, man. It's an honor to be out here in New York, man. I get to fight in the Garden. Crazy storied history of all the athletes, all the performers, all the fighters that have fought there. The UFC has a ton of history there, and I'm just excited to put my name on the wall, man.
Yeah, what has the last year plus looked like for you? Was this a longer break than you wanted? Perfect timing? How would you kind of assess it?
Everything happened exactly how it was supposed to happen. Real happy with the amount of time off. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I know we don't have to tell you, the story of your own career or anything like that, but what have you kind of taken away from the recent fights, and just where do you feel you're at in terms of skills and mentally going into this fight?
Skill-wise, I'm Dom 2.0. My defense is heavily upgraded. My offense is even better than before. Yeah, I think my timing and my speed is faster than I've ever been, but my defense is heavily upgraded.
And you see people when they kind of read into this fight, they're like, hey, like maybe this is a perfect step back for Dom, a way to, regain his confidence, get back on track. But I saw you tweeting being like, hey, why am I on the prelims? And like a little bit of frustration there. Do you like this fight? Do you like the spot that you're at? Or do you feel like maybe you deserve something different?
I mean, as a fighter, we always want to be, the top guy, But it is what it is, man. I've been spending my time in Connecticut with Glover Teixeira. He helped me a lot with, living in the now and, just living right now and appreciating everything you have. Nothing's guaranteed. So no matter what, for 15 minutes or less, it's my show. So it doesn't matter.
And with training with Glover, does that complicate things a little bit, knowing that he's fighting for the title next month? Or do you feel like once you get back on track, win whatever fights you need, he'll probably be retired by then and it won't be an issue?
Yeah, that seems to be kind of the feel. But me and Glover are great friends, man. I'll never fight Glover. And whatever happens, we're not going to fight. So I'm just excited to be around the guy.
Yeah, and last thing for me, seeing Jiri holding the belt now and looking back on your fight, like, does it make you feel better about that loss and knowing that you aren't all that far off considering all the moments that you did have in that fight?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was that fight was razor thin. That was a razor thin fight. I mean, you could look at it and say, I got knocked out or whatever I did, but I also knocked him out at one point. That fight was a great fight. I only put on great fights. My last fight was fight of the night. Then the fight before that was not so great, but it was still a good fight. I went down swinging. You know what I mean? Like, I put on great fights no matter what, and I intend on doing it again on Saturday.
Dom, right here, straight ahead. You can go. Thanks, Jose. What do you think of this matchup with Ryan Spann? Can you just kind of talk me through what you're expecting to see out of him?
Ryan Spann, he's a very tough guy. He's on the up and comer. He's got a lot of momentum in his direction right now. He wants everything I have. Bottom line, he's number 11 or 12, and I'm number 6 or 7. I'm number 7. Sorry, whoever's number 6. But yeah, like, this is his opportunity again to try to come up and get into the top echelon. But he's still not that guy.
And then obviously the journey back to a title shot begins on Saturday. But what do you kind of see the path as? Like, when you look at your recent losses, all 3 of those guys held the title. So do you feel like maybe, sure, you're coming off a 3-fight skid, but like a couple more, you're right back where you should be?
Well, absolutely. I'm number 7 still, right? So a couple more, and we'll see what happens. But bottom line, I got to take care of Spann on Saturday. Literally, that's literally the only thing I've been thinking about. Like, people ask me all the time, well, what's next? I'm like, how could I say what's next? I don't know what's going to happen on this one. I feel I know what's going to happen. I feel prepared and ready to go, but you don't know what's going to happen. There's so many variables in this sport. So for me, take out Spann and then go from there.
Obviously, in the lead up to your last few fights during media days and interviews and stuff, a lot was brought up of like your analytical mind and your college and everything. When the UFC shows highlights of Ryan, it's usually like big punches, these knockouts, and this power. But if you look at his record, it's a lot of submission wins. Do you think we're not talking about or looking enough at his submission skills?
His submission skill. Yeah, that's for me. That's his biggest threat is that submission, that choke that he does. Um, yeah, he's a puncher to a degree. You know, he's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. You know, he's in the UFC. He's skilled, and he's on his way up. But I wouldn't say his striking ability is his number one asset. Like you said, I would say his submission ability is his number one asset.
And you talked with your work with Glover and like your conversation with him. Did he give you any advice on just like there was a point in time when he had lost like a couple in a row, and then he built his way back up to winning the title, and it was that big moment in Abu Dhabi. Did he give you any words of advice on just that, like building yourself back
Oh, a
up?
bunch of them, man. Like I spent his entire birthday with him. We were hanging out all day long, you know, and we talked about life, you know, before, after, during, you know, and it all comes down at the end of the day, man. It's about what's happening right now, and how you feel about yourself and how you're portraying yourself to the world, you know. And as long as you're being true to yourself, that's really all that matters. And that's where I am, man. I'm happy. I'm fighting for me, you know. I'm not worried about my answers to you guys anymore. I'm just saying what's on my heart, you know.
Were you worried about your answers to us?
At one point I was, you know, you know, I want everybody to like me, you know, I want to be the guy, blah, 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 you know. But it doesn't matter. Like, what matters is the performances in the octagon and, you know, how I treat my family, how I treat my friends and my fans, and that's it.
Then unrelated to your fight, but I've been asking everyone this at Media Day, this is going to be Frank Edgar's last fight in his MMA career. So were you a fan of his coming up? Do you have any memories with Frank out there watching or just being around him?
Yeah, Frankie's been in some awesome, amazing wars. The Gray Maynard fights that was crazy, you know. Frankie's the man. I really got nothing to say other than he's the man. And every time he fights, he puts on a show, and it's awesome.
And obviously, since you've been training with Glover, you've been training with Alex Pereira a bit. Do you have any thoughts on how he probably, I assume you're going to side with him, but how do you think he gets it done against Israel?
Imagine I didn't. Yeah, he's going to win. I don't know how he's going to win. It's probably going to be a knockout, to be honest. He's a monster.
What was camp like with Glover and Alex?
It was fun. It's fun, you know, working with the highest level guys. You know, Glover's former champion. I'm a former champion. And then you got Alex, who's 5, 6, 7-time kickboxing world champion, multiple divisions. And then working with Thurman as well. You know, black belt in jiu-jitsu, very quick, very strong. I mean, it was super fun camp. It's one of those things where we're all such professionals that we can know how to work to that line, right? You work to that line, but you don't hurt each other. Obviously, we're teammates. We got to take care of each other. We got to make it to the fight. But we work to that point, like right before that line of, hey, you guys got to slow down. But it was just a lot of fun, man. Every day, it was really good being out of my comfort zone. I never trained out of California, and then going out to Connecticut and training with those guys, and really like, I'm the new guy, you know. I took a step back, you know. It's Alex is fighting for the title. It's Glover's gym, you know. And it was kind of cool, like being a student again. And yeah, man, I'm ready to go.
Do you feel that added something new, something different to you?
Absolutely, my defense. Like I was saying, my defense is crazy now. Like, you guys are gonna see. When Alex and Glover and everybody is like, bro, it's really having a hard time even getting close to you and touching you. That says a lot, you know, and I'm very confident and happy.
And with working with Glover, how do you think he does against his rematch with Jiri?
He just got to finish the job. You know, he was already there. He just got 20 more seconds, and then we got the belt back. Yeah, I think Glover's going to do great. He's an OG. He's a legend, and he's had so many fights, and he's had so many camps, and he's ready to take his title back.
Thank you.
Dominick over here. So obviously you're a California guy, like you mentioned, but you do have ties to the East Coast. You went to Stony Brook and everything. So, you know, how has it been kind of readjusting to East Coast life?
Well, initially, you know, the time change gets you. You know, you're grappling and going through hard practices, and you're dealing with a time change. It's not that fun. But it's been great, man. It's been refreshing. That's the word I would put on it. It's been refreshing, you know. Just being on the East Coast again, having, you know, crisp air, living in the woods of Connecticut, and yeah, I like it out here. I really do. I feel like when I first came out here, when I was 18 years old to go to college, you know, it kind of made me the man who I am. And now I'm back out here, and I'm 2.0 now.
What were some of your kind of fond memories when you were going to school out here, living out this way?
Oh, coming to the city, you know, going to delis. There's no delis in California, you know. Diners. There's no diners over there like that. Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. The water, there's water. You know, there's water in Connecticut. There's not any more water in California. So it was nice. It was really nice, man.
Thank you.
Dom over here. I know this 2.0, one thing you said recently in an interview is that you had to get your mind right. What specifically are you doing?
It's a kryptonite, I'm sorry.
What specifically are you doing to get your mind right?
I'm training with the right people. I stayed on a lake for camp. I rented a house on the lake, you know, centered myself. Took a hard look at the realities of myself, you know, where I'm lacking, where I'm doing well, what I need to improve. Like being fully honest with myself and improving the things. Working with my boxing coach, Coach Fernelli Feliz, you know. One of the first days I got to Connecticut, I sparred with a pro boxer named Fernelli Feliz Jr. He's like a 4-time Golden Glove. He's 3-0 as a pro. I hit him maybe like twice. I was like, man, this is crazy. I suck, dude. And by the end of camp, I was beating him in rounds, you know. So, like, I had to go all the way down to the bottom and restart again. And it felt good to see that the development and the growth, you know what I mean? And coming into this fight, like, I'm peaking, and I'm excited about what's going to happen.
Hey, Dom, over here. How'd you even link up with Glover and everyone at the gym, and what made you make the connection? Or
It's kind of a funny story. During International Fight Week, I was on my way to an event. I was coming down the elevator, and Coach Fernelli Feliz, which is Glover's main coach, boxing coach, came down the elevator. He's like, hey, Reyes, can I take a picture? We took a picture, and then he's like, I want to talk to you when you get back. So I came back, and he was still in the lobby, and he's like, hey, man, I'd love for you to come to Connecticut and train with us. And, you know, you're a champion, man. You got everything it takes, and you just need a little love, you know. And I'm here to support you, you know. I want you to succeed. It's not often you meet people, you know, that will go out of their way to try to make you the best version of you. Eric Nixick, for instance, he is that way towards me, and it feels awesome talking to Eric. You know, I got Joe Stevenson in my corner. It's very similar as well, where it's just all love. You know, they just care about me. You know what I mean? They want me to be the best version of myself. But dealing with Fernelli Feliz, like, he was so genuine. And for me, it was like, okay, it's an opportunity to get out of the desert, you know. I love Eric and everything, but I just needed to step away from everything familiar. And that's why I chose to go out to Connecticut. And then when I got out there, Glover was, you know, greeted me with a hug when I walked in the gym, you know. And it's like, all right, this is going to be awesome. You know, it's obviously a little intimidating walking into a guy in your division's gym, but it's like family, man.
good luck, Dom.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, Dom? Stan the man from Medicine the Man.
Oh, Stan.
How are
you
you,
doing,
man?
bro? It's been a minute.
Oh, it's been a long time, but good to see you again. Glad that you're back. So you're back in New York. Have you ever wanted to fight in New York? Was this like a bucket list thing for you?
Absolutely. The Garden's on the bucket list. Staples Center before it became Crypto Arena. Still the same arena. That's also on the bucket list. But this is one of them for sure.
So now Connecticut, is this a permanent fixture? Like you said you're renting there. You don't live there, or are you staying there?
Oh, I'm renting at the moment. Gonna see how it goes. Every fight kind of requires different things. Then we'll see what
So I asked Alex it earlier. I'm sure you said the same thing, that Glover's a mentor and someone that you look up to for inspiration. If you can put into words what it's been like training alongside him as he's getting ready for the biggest fight of his life, his rematch with Jiri.
It's just energy, man. It's all energy. Like, we all just feed off each other's energy. We walk in the gym, we all say good morning to each other, you know, and then we just go. And then after practice, we're just hanging out, talking, you know. it's one of those things where we don't get too serious about it. You know, it's like we keep it light and we have fun with it. Because if you start focusing too much on it, then the gym just starts getting like tense and rigid. So we just keep it light. Being next to Glover is like, I don't know, man. Coming up in the game, I never thought I would have a mentor like Glover Teixeira in my corner. I mean, he's not in my corner for this fight, but he's in my corner. You know?
Yeah, the vibe I'm getting is he's a very good coach.
Yeah, he is.
That I guess a lot of people don't realize yet.
Well, and he understands that everybody needs different things. You know, like when he was helping me for this fight, he's sparring me differently than when he's helping Alex for his fight. And then when I'm working with him, I'm trying to be Jiri because I know what Jiri's like. You know, and it's genuine. It's genuine. I think that's the word. It's genuine.
So final one for me, Dom. This has been years in the making. Winter Menace and the Man partying with Dominick Reyes. Is it happening this Saturday after you get the win?
It's happening this Saturday after the win, bro, for sure.
Sounds like a plan. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Dom in the back here. This is your last one. All right. I had a few questions.
Next question.
So, John Jones' last fight was 3 years ago.
Next question.
It was.
All right, go. I'm just messing with you. Go.
John Jones' last fight was 3 years ago, and it was you. Obviously, you think you won that fight. He's, moving up to heavyweight. But is that a fight you ever want to get back?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to fight John again. That was the whole thing, the rematch him. It just didn't happen, you know. He said, I'm too dangerous, and it costs a lot of money to fight me the second time, so he decided to give his belt. Like, that's it.
And this is the first time in your UFC career that you're fighting someone with more experience in the promotion. You have more fights than Ryan Spann. You were touted as one of the best prospects in division for so long. Do you feel like you've made that pivot from a prospect to a veteran?
Yeah, I mean, 2 title fights in a row, fighting 4 champions in a row. I would say I'm a veteran, for sure.
Last one. You went, obviously started your career out undefeated until that title fight. Since then, 3 losses in a row. Are you in a different headspace since, being that undefeated prospect with that bravado, you had that attitude, you came into that title fight feeling on top of the world. Since then, do you feel like you've changed your headspace?
No. I still think I'm the best in the world. I'm still going to show up and show out. I mean, it's all about being under the bright lights, man. My whole thing is under those lights with the crowd. There's nothing better in the world. Once that cage door locks, I'm like, now you can't leave, It's me and you, and I'm walking away. Same exact mentality.
Thanks, Tom.